thankfully the clicking wasn't going through. Oh yeah.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Exercinic Show. Hey, we're on time. How's it going, everybody? Earlier that we worked on sculpting in 3D Code, and you know that we also do things in Blender. With that in mind, as you know, I've been talking about showcasing, right? So we have something called the Epic Showcase. It's a little segment, for the community, for any person that uses Blender, for anyone that loves art, for anyone that has a special interest, that it could come on here and you could showcase, what you want, what you got, and share it with other people who might find it interesting. I have a very interesting person with me right now. His name is Spencer Magnusson, and he created some really cool plugins, right? One of the plugins, one of the main plugins is called Light. What is called Light? Oh my gosh. Called Light Painter. There you go. I had GIMP open, so I was like Painter, GIMP. Painter is literally a different program. So one of the programs he made one of the plugins he made is Light Painter. Another one is called Nview, and another one is called Proxy Pro. And these are some of the plugins that he created. He also has some tutorials out there and some other products that hopefully we'll have time to get into. But without further ado, let's go into that new segment called Epic Showcase and see what Spencer is doing. So welcome to the stream, everyone, and here we go. Hey Spencer, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Uh, so how's your Saturday been so far?
It's been good. Had a busy morning. There was some community service going on in the area, but I
Oh,
was
okay.
able to get back in time. But yeah, been doing well. It's been a good Saturday for me.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, here in New York, it's better. It's not cold, so that's the first thing. And yeah, there's a lot of community events going on. So you
Mhm.
are the creator of several things to help Blender artists, aren't you?
Yeah. So this is actually from my portfolio screen. I didn't know what to just have on screen when we started, so I just
Okay.
gotta so this on here. So yeah. So I'll just give some background. So
Okay. Yes.
I have been a Blender enthusiast for about 15 years now. I feel very old saying that. But I've made a various amount of things with Blender. I started with visual effects. That's where I first started. Then did some CG animation, and I got into programming and coding. And that was kind of when I realized oh, I could make plugins and add-ons for Blender. And so that's kind of where kind of the worlds collide moment with that with coding and Blender.
Wow.
Um,
It's amazing. I actually looked at some of your work, and you do really good work. I see you even have like maybe a short out. Is that a short or is it
yeah.
a full length? Is that a full length movie? It's called
Oh,
what is it?
Escape
Escape.
is what it's called.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so that was a short I made 2 years ago now, a year
Okay.
and a half ago. It was kind of my way of just basically like proving to myself that I can make something like that. As an
Wonderful.
as an artist, for beginner artists, I would definitely recommend like making like an animated short. Keep it ridiculously simple.
Okay.
Because even with mine, it's 2 minutes long, but it took me about like 8 to 9 months to do it.
Wow.
So I would highly recommend just keeping it just simple, like a one shot, 1 minute like type of short. But it teaches you a lot. You learn a lot of things that you otherwise just would not learn from tutorials or even just kind of still renders on your own. So I would highly recommend that.
Wow. That's amazing. And that short, what did you use to make that short? What program?
So that was almost entirely in Blender. The
Wow.
only exceptions was DaVinci Resolve for video editing and color grading.
Wonderful.
I used multiple of these add-ons as well. We'll get into.
That's amazing. Now, and when working on that short that you did any of
Mhm.
like while you're working on it, did it like spark some of your imagination for like creating new plugins or workflows or anything like that while you were creating your thing, or was it other
That's a good question.
projects?
So it did. It didn't inspire me to create any new add-ons, but it did incentivize me to further some of the existing add-ons that I have.
Okay.
For example, with Beeland, that's not one I was planning on getting into today. I mean, we can go over it briefly, but
Yeah.
basically this is like quality checks for projects that we can have like different blend files all have the same resolution, or make sure you know that there's certain objects in each scene for your blend file, kind of just like different checks. Um,
Wow.
and so when I was doing that project, I had a lot of blend files, and I kind of realized like I should probably fix that add-on. This would actually be really useful right now. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, it definitely incentivizes me to work on something. I don't know if it inspired any directly, but I would say Beeline was probably the big one that came out of it. But I used a lot of different add-ons as part of it.
It's amazing. So can we go into your first plugin that you created out there? Now,
Yeah,
now are all of these things that people could purchase, or is it things that you could just download directly, or? Oh,
great question. So it's a mix. So
okay.
there's Light Painter that's slowly free. You can download it within Blender right now. So I'll show you how to do that really quick as well.
Yes.
And then some of these are paid that you can purchase. So Proxy Plus, Nview, Find Duplicate Meshes, Color Picker Pro are. But I also have some free ones. So like Color for Material, which is one of my favorites, as well as Blint and Scene Complexity. Those are all completely free on my GitHub. And I'll send a link for Xnick to share. And it'll just be one link, so that way you
Yeah.
don't have like a list of links to send out.
That's great. And also, guys, if you're watching this now, if you look on the bottom of the screen, Spencer Magnusson under his name, I actually put a link to his website where he has a whole link of all, like most of the work that he's done that you could be part of.
Yeah, so this is what it'll take you to, and the portfolio is what I was showing from this. If you wanted to
Wonderful.
check out some of my other things, but yeah, let's get into Blender
Right.
without further
Okay.
ado.
So which one is this you're launching?
So it's Blender. So
Okay.
it's basically a script I have of. It allows me to like just start up Blender with like factory settings. That way,
Oh,
so that way you don't have to see all my extra add-ons and like theme changes and get confused.
That's
It's really
great.
helpful for tutorials. But yeah, so for those that are starting on Blender, you can go to Edit, and at the bottom there's Preferences. You'll open this new window, and we'll get into Extensions, the Get Extensions. And this allows you to download, manage, and update add-ons without even having to leave Blender. I mean, just even a year ago, you would have to manually download and manually check for changes and updates and re-download it, and
That's
it could
right.
just become a pain for a lot of new users that want to try add-ons. So with extensions, it kind of simplifies that process. So I'm going to allow online access
okay.
in this case, and then there's Light Painter. I already have it installed, but if you don't have it installed, you just click the button, wait a couple seconds, and that's installed and set up. So
Okay.
I'll go into add-ons. That's where I can enable it. There we go. And all the Light Painter tools comes up in this side panel. So let
I
me.
like it. They're all like right there without you having to dive into like sub menus and other things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna pull up a test file just as an example,
Okay.
if it will let me. There we go. So this is a test file. It's not mine. If you've seen Andrew Price, he has like a lighting playlist
Okay.
where you can learn about lighting and things like that. This is what that's from for reference. Just that way you're
okay.
not confused of what this comes from or anything. So normally when you're doing lighting, you kind of have to manually place all your lights. So you Shift A to add the light,
Yeah.
add a point
Move it
light,
around.
you go and move it around. Now, the thing that is kind of a hard thing, especially like with 2D artists or even just artists that are just starting with 3D and nothing else,
Yes.
is while you're working in 3D space, you kind of have to think 2D still because you're thinking,
Yes.
okay, how does it look in the final render? How is the light making the shapes work and things like that?
Silhouettes.
And so this is, sorry, go ahead. But yeah, so it's trying to, so that's kind of the hard issue with figuring out lighting here. But the idea with Light Painter is to kind of make it feel a little more 2D and more like you're directly affecting how it looks.
Okay.
So for example, so I just click the tool down here. And so let's see, we'll just have it do kind of a rim light maybe around her leg, kind of like if it's like city lighting or something. So if I click, then it starts up. We'll have a little pencil icon. And so then if I just draw, on her leg, you can kind of see like it's already like lighting towards towards the leg. So you can see the point light in this case.
Okay.
The text is kind of in the way, but so the light is positioned away from that surface and is positioned that way it can try to light that surface best. So I'm going to even use some keyboard shortcuts.
Oh.
So it's an area light now instead of a point light. I can even have it of, so this basically just like adds the light directly away from where the surface is pointed. But if I can have it take the camera into account with like a reflect angle, so that way it's shining here at the leg, and they're like kind of the more reflected side will hit the camera. This is great for like car lighting and things like that, where reflections are a big thing. But
doing like rim lighting and all that.
Mm-hmm. And then another one of my other favorite features of this is that when you move lights close or far away, you notice the brightness is going to change as it gets closer.
Right.
And that's part of inverse square laws of physics name, but basically the farther away you are from a light, the proportionally less bright the light becomes. Or the farther away you are from a light, the much more dim it looks.
Yeah.
And so there's an option here they add called relative power. So this is the keyboard shortcuts, by the way, so that way you can like see as you're working.
Okay.
And so if I now adjust the light, you notice that the apparent brightness on that leg is pretty consistent. So it's like if I have it really far away like this, still a decent gray, but if I bring it really close,
it's about the same.
It's still a pretty decent gray too.
Yeah.
So this is a great way of kind of adjusting the fall off of your lighting without having to manually just kind of go in and readjust the brightness every time you move the light. So really nice. And then I can change the visibility with the number keys. So 1 to turn off camera visibility.
Wow.
And I can just press enter, and then that's done. And you can still adjust some of these settings if you want after the fact. You just can't draw more.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
I think like for me, watching you do this particular demo here, where the light remains consistent even though you move it out of the camera screen, that's a thing I always used to have to juggle in the past, where you want a nice strong light, but you don't want to necessarily move the light into the camera frame. So with this, you could have it out of frame and you could just adjust the intensity, and it'll remain the same without you having to move it closer or hide it. I used to hide it before in the past.
Yeah, exactly. And that was always a pain for me too, of like, adjusting light of like, okay, well I need it closer to have the fall off, but now I have to make it dimmer.
Yeah.
It's not right. Now I have to readjust it. And so it just was kind of a pain with that.
Amazing.
And so I'll show one more set of features. Let me find the other test file I'm going to use. Okay. So this is a old like official Blender demo file. This is probably around.
I remember that one. That's cool.
2.9.
Was it?
So, yeah, I can't remember. I don't know if it was a splash. It was to demo the new like sky node.
Okay.
But anyway, so there's a couple of other options for the light painter, as you can see. So you can do like mesh lights and tubes if you're kind of more like emissive mesh surfaces. The ones I want to get into is sky or sun paint, and then adjust light.
Okay.
So then with the sun paint, let me start rendering on this. So just have a completely dark scene. So I'm gonna kind of add some lighting from this, and so I'm gonna with the sun. I have the exposure down, so that's why I have to turn up the power on the sun lamp here. But so with this. So now it's with a sun lamp object, but it will try to get that lighting. So you can see with the rim, now it can get kind of that surface of that junk. I think that's what it's supposed to be. And then the dune. And so that way you can be able to have, be able to light specific objects in your scene and kind of have it match the environment lighting.
This is amazing. It's literally you're painting with light painter.
And so let's see if I can do. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, so you can kind of do these different linings. I'm gonna actually erase that, so you can use Control to erase it if you don't like the certain thing. So we'll keep it to that for now.
Okay.
And with the sun still selected, something added, which this is probably the more crazy one to me, is shadow painting. And so this is specifically just with lamp objects. I do want to work on having it work with sky texture as well. That's what this extra option was down here.
Okay.
But this is just with lamp objects, but with shadow paint, then I can be able to say like, okay, so let's get this, maybe get this like kind of area here in shadow. So I can draw here and I'll do that. Let me see where the object is. There we go. There we go. So you can kind of see paint different things. Let me give a better example of, it's kind of hard to like remember where it is in relation to space, but let me do here. And so the object I set to be pretty far away, so it's kind of, so I have to bring it back in.
Okay.
So it's a little less, a little more of a sharp shadow. But
right.
So you can see in this case, for example,
it's amazing.
I was able to paint this on the ground, and then it kind of generated this mesh
right
in relation between the lamp object and the surface. That way it can cast that shadow.
Right. Wow. Now, are you able to, like, how you were able to adjust how far away that invisible and I'm thinking the object now becomes invisible, right?
Right.
Are you able to adjust? Are you able to adjust? Like, you said you were able to adjust how far away it is. Is that something that you're doing, that you have access to, or is this actually something anyone could do who has the plugin? They could adjust how far the planes are.
Select the sun lamp again. So yes, I had it pretty far away.
Okay, it's up there. Offset.
Little.
Okay.
Yes, this is like default values, but you can have it. You can set it more.
Okay, I see.
With that, so I'll draw it again. There we go.
Wow.
So yeah, so with this, it was the G key in this case. So you can kind of see the plane is moving back and forth.
I see.
With the sun lamp, it's more of just kind of adjusting how sharp that shadow is with the sun lamp. But
yeah,
it allows you to be able to kind of be a little more specific with how the shadow looks in terms of sharpness. And if there's other objects in the way as well, that can affect that too. But so yeah.
That's amazing, because with that you could even use that to prevent like light leaks if you wanted to, right? Like where like little bits of light is kind of if like you're in a room and little bits of light is going through a room, you could like kind of okay, I just don't want that there, and you could like
that's true, just kind of blocking everything out.
Yeah, that's so you want a shadow there, because that's basically what it's projecting, right?
Yeah, and then so with Light Painter, I'll just do that really quick. The Blender has a weird thing of that you can't have like, so these are called like modal operators because it's like they're it's like it's not like a press the button and immediately happens. It's more interactive.
Okay.
You can't have those in the main key map, so you have to add the key map separately. So this is basically a way of, so if you want to change the shortcuts, you can, and things like that, as well as changing the overlay and stuff like that. But yeah, this has been a fun add-on to make. I made it, I think 2 years ago.
Wow.
Or a year ago. And it's been a long journey. It's one of those things of like with add-ons of like,
yeah,
I am someone that's not great at marketing, and so when I share stuff, I'm like, hey, here it is, and it's just kind of like, that one just keeps going, and I'm like,
Right.
oh wait, I need to actually share this, market this, and not just like
Yeah.
say it's out. But
Yeah, you need to do a couple demos, some flashy stuff.
mhm.
That's
Yeah, and I've been getting better at that. I made a reel for Light Painter recently that blew up on Instagram really well, and then I
awesome.
think a couple other websites highlighted it, thankfully. So, but yeah, this is completely free. Again, so you go to
Wow.
preferences, get extensions, and just search for Light Painter. It should be right up there. Um,
What?
so yeah, it's
Yeah,
a great
that's
add-on.
amazing. Like I needed something like this maybe like 10 years ago.
That's true. It's like,
It's
even
amazing.
with my add-ons, it's like I wish I knew, like had made this like a year ago before I
Yeah.
started on all these different projects and things like that. So
Oh,
that's good. All right,
this is great work.
mhm. All right, how are we on time?
Oh, it's okay, Spencer. We could just go flow naturally here.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, could flow naturally here. So, do you want to move on to maybe Nview?
Yeah. Let's do Nview. All
Okay,
right, I
so
need
yeah,
to.
Light Painter is amazing. Yeah, you guys download it, man. It's free. I'm gonna have it. You know, definitely.
There we go. So yeah, I restarted Blender so that way I could, actually show the add-ons that I currently have,
Okay.
as opposed to just the one downloaded. Um, so yeah, so this one's called Nview, and this kind of went down my rabbit hole of optimization.
I love it.
So with, I'm trying to remember how I first thought of it. There was someone that was like doing like architecture visualization, and they're wanting to like find ways of like hiding objects that weren't visible
Yeah.
for a given frame and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's got to be a way to do that on your own.
Wow.
And
That totally was my
but
job for many years. Like hiding stuff from like
oh,
Revit, hiding stuff from AutoCAD, and other
oh,
like
man.
apps like Bentley products and stuff. It was like just all because it's so intricate. You know, you have all these like a
Mhm.
door is not just a door;
Oh,
it has like all the components in it.
Oh yeah, and it's like with Blender with the like the visibility settings. It's like they are very useful and they're very powerful, but to beginners, it just makes no sense of like, oh, there's multiple visibility settings for an object. Why is that? Like,
Right.
so it can get kind of complicated, and that's uh, kind of what inspired me with this add-on. So, for instance, so there's a bunch of these cubes, individual objects, and we got this camera here, and it can only see some of them. And so, what if we want to make sure we only see, or only have
What
the
we see.
visible objects visible? So I'm gonna go. I actually make the camera display bigger because currently like it's just so small, but I want to be able to have you be able to see the frustum. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So from a visual perspective, this is what is visible. So it'd be like, okay, we definitely don't want these objects here. So how can we hide those? Now you can kind of manually select them from the view and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I used to do in the
but-
past. I select them off to the side. You know, I used to use 3D Studio Max for that, and then I did the same thing in Blender.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
how are we
and-
doing this in Nview?
Yeah, and usually that can work. The problem is with Blender, if you're drawing a bunch of tiny objects, sometimes the selection doesn't work completely. So you have to
Okay.
so you have to sometimes take that into account. But in this case, it's able to do it automatically.
What?
And so I can even adjust like the margins. So if I want to make sure if like, okay, anything that does not cross this at all, don't, or I can give it a little
Okay.
extra. And so you can add these objects as well.
Wait a minute.
like-
Hold on here, Spencer. Hold on. I wait a minute. So for it to do what you just did there, that's amazing, right? So like, do you have to have the frustum like projected all the way out to cover everything, or could you? Or
Oh
it
no,
doesn't matter.
that's just for So that's just
That's just for visual,
visualization.
but
So,
could you make it small just so that we believe what you're doing?
oh,
That
okay.
it's not
Yeah,
trickery?
sure. No tricks. No tricks. Yeah, I gotcha. All right. Okay, so let me.
Okay, guys, this is Nview doing what we all did manually for years.
Okay, there we go.
There, a button. What?
Single
Amazing.
button right up here. So yeah, so this is, so it's based off of culling methods, especially like for game devs that are familiar of like frustum culling and things like
Yeah.
that. I try to avoid using the word culling in my like in the product description, things
Yeah.
like that, because usually people would message me like, oh, so it's automatic, like don't have to touch them. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, it's not automatic in that it's doing everything for you. You're just being able to figure out what is visible or not. You're not telling it what to do with it necessarily.
Right.
But
It's not going through and it's not cleaning up and deleting things and all that.
correct.
Right.
And so there's a couple options here of doing hide, which we'll get to. But the problem with frustum culling is that it doesn't take into account of occlusion, or where it's like with here, you only see like, I don't know, maybe like 12 objects maybe within the frame.
Right.
And so you don't need to have all these objects behind it that are obviously not going to be seen.
Bazillion objects in the background that's not seen.
Yeah, exactly. And so in this case, we'd want to be able to occlude some of these objects.
Okay.
Well, that's what the raycast method is for. So I'll click that.
What?
It just selected these front ones.
Oh,
That's it.
wow.
And so this is when it becomes really useful. I've used this especially like if I'm creating like a terrain for like a still render. I'm like, well, I don't actually need all the terrain
Right.
for my computer. And so I can use raycast or frustum and be able to just like, okay, select the stuff that's not visible, delete. Like that way I don't have to worry about that stuff.
That's
And there's even a
amazing.
couple options of with, especially like with cycles, and Eevee's actually starting to get this too, of with indirect lighting, you sometimes don't actually want to get all objects just outside of view, because sometimes an object that's just out of view may be affecting the lighting of what's in view. So, so sometimes you need to be able to take that into account. And so that's why I added these bounces parameters. So that way, if I want to like, okay, we can see these objects, but what about objects that maybe are reflected or contributing to lighting after like 2 bounces of those rays? Well, so I can increase this. Look at that. I was able to detect this next row. So yes, this is a fun one to do, of being able to check for those occluded ones as well.
So wait a minute. So the glossy, that one parameter there, that takes like, so whatever it's seeing, it takes into account the things that are being reflected in those objects.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So the add-on is literally sending rays into the scene. It's not utilizing cycles or anything. That's why it's slower, is because it's just sending the rays through Python. It's not using cycles in any way. So basically, what the 2 is saying, okay, shoot a ray from the camera, hit this object here.
Okay.
Get a little closer. So hit this object here. We have 2 bounces, so we can do one
and then 2.
Hit here, and so it didn't get the next one, but then
2
on the second bounce, it hits something else, and it adds it.
That's amazing. So that was one of the problems I had. So sometimes I'd go through like an entire scene and delete things on the side, and I was like, and then when I do the render, I was like, where is the car? I was like, oops, I deleted it, by accident.
Yeah, that's true.
So this here is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's also transmission as well. Let me see if I can demo that really quick. So all these cubes have the same material. So what if we made them like glass? So we just increase the transmission to 1.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so let me make sure this is working right. Okay. So yeah, you can see all these objects are now glass and you can
Yeah.
see through them. So then the problem with occlusion culling is that the occlusion culling isn't good at transparent objects or objects where it's like I can kind of see through them, and so just assuming they're all opaque doesn't really work.
That's right.
Let me go back to this. So with the transmission, we can add a couple bounces here. So it's just the first row. And then we add another one.
Yeah.
And so it's detecting all these extra cubes that are visible behind this main line of cubes.
That are like 2 levels deep, or maybe 1 level deep.
Yeah, so it's 2 bounces. So basically, I had it of, so it hits the object, and then it hits the back of the object. I didn't want to assume back faces with Blender, because Blender will just render it regardless of the faces facing the other way or not. So it's 1 hits the cube, 1 hits the back of the cube, and then 1 more time hits the ones behind it. So that's the methodology behind the bounces count. So
for the transmission. Oh, for all of them. For all of them. Okay.
But for each of the rays, yeah.
Each of the rays, okay. Wow, amazing.
And then of course there's distance right here, which of course is like the simplest of culling methods.
Distance based.
Oh, I may have ran into a bug. That's okay. Oh, there we go.
So everything 20 meters around from
around the camera.
The camera.
Yeah.
Now is it projecting literally like a spherical like rays from around the camera, or is it just going straight?
Thankfully, no. It's literally, it should just be taking the location of the cube, the location of the camera, and just calculating the distance. And seeing how close it is. Yeah, the rays is just for the raycast. I don't do it for the other ones because otherwise it would just run way too slow. So I avoid that in that case. But yes, that's
amazing. Another plugin I needed like 10 years ago. This is amazing.
Yeah, so there's a few different options. I won't go into all of them, but you can have it of like, you can actually have it hide objects if you want for you. For an animated camera or scene, for instance, there's the option of where maybe you wanted to like bake the visibility to keyframes. So it's like, okay, the object's visible for these frames, but then off the rest of the frames. You can have it bake it to keyframes as well if you want. And things like that. So a lot of fun features. This was kind of like a passion project for a few years. So it's just chock full of algorithms and math, and so it was really fun to do.
Amazing. And you said this what sparked this was one of your friends who actually did architectural visualization kind of start talking about something like this.
Yeah, so they had come to me and were just like, hey, I'm trying to figure out like how to optimize my scene, because the camera was like doing like a virtual tour of the house, and they're like, okay, I don't want Blender to just render stuff that's on the first floor if I'm on the second floor. Like, I want to be able to turn stuff off dynamically.
Nice.
And so again, this kind of got me into that mindset of optimization, which perfectly transitions into Proxy Plus. Because with Nview kind of made me realize also how much Blender can do from an optimization perspective. Because a lot of people would say of like, well, you don't need Nview, you can just use these settings, and kind of the anti-plugin community with Blender. But it kind of helped me of like, well, okay, like, I mean, studios and people do use optimization. What is the ideal way to optimize with Blender, but just like an animation in general?
I mean,
and that led me
basically like 3D Studio Max, the one I used for many years. It's basically a program with a collection of plugins. Basically, that's what it is. It's chock full of plugins,
Yeah, and that's actually one of the values of other big softwares like Maya and Houdini, like it's not just what the software itself can do, but also of the support of plugins and external apps and render engines connecting to it.
Connecting to it, that's correct.
And so telling a studio to get off of Maya onto Blender isn't just switching the 3D software, but every other tool they want to use with it.
Yes, it's just an addition. That's correct.
Right. And so I'm going to have a new scene. I'm going to have a character model that I love to use for this example. But
Okay.
actually, we can start with the main scene first. So next is Proxy Plus.
Yeah, boy.
And so this is the big thing with studios, that they love using proxies of they save the high quality stuff for the render farm, but anything that's in the viewport is usually just a low fidelity version.
Okay.
And so in this case, let's say we got Suzanne,
Yep.
and so we kind of want this like high resolution version, and just apply that. Okay, so we got our nice Suzanne, but we want to be able to have a lower resolution version for the viewport, just to make things fast.
The game engine would allow for like high res stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, for you to animate, you don't want to slow Blender down.
Right. And so usually what you would do is you would duplicate the Suzanne,
That's
you would
right.
rename it to a different thing, then you would like simplify it, and then you would hide the high fidelity one from the viewport and hide the proxy from the render,
Spencer,
right?
you forgot. You're supposed to break up Suzanne into different pieces. And, it's more involved, guys. And you could probably even color code the pieces. And, it's a lot of work.
It's true. Yeah, just optimizing meshes like that alone is a lot of work. So in this case, with Proxy Plus, so I right-clicked, so it has the menu here. It's also up in the bottom of the object menu as well. So I right-click, and I have an option for a decimated proxy. And so then it does all the work for us. And so you can't see, I'll make the decimation much more obvious for stream. There we go.
Wow.
There we go. That's blocky, Suzanne. But then the nice thing is then your viewport can be kept low fidelity for the sake of speed. But then when I do the render, it's still using the high quality mesh.
I like what you did with I like how the plugin made it so that the proxy is not renderable. You don't have to go in and change all those flags. Say, well, this is renderable, this is not, this is viewable in the viewport, this is not. Yeah, that could get really tiring if you have like a 50-piece proxy mesh to do that stuff.
Oh, exactly. I was saying you're gonna love this then. So with the proxy, so what if I'm like, oh, I need to update something with the high fidelity one.
Okay.
Now normally you'd be like, okay, turn this off, turn this on. But then you kind of get into the thing of forgetting which one is on, which one's off, and you have to make sure to reset it and go back and things like that. And so with this, I use Proxy Plus, toggle, done. Toggle it back.
Wow.
You can make this a shortcut if you want, so that way you can do it back and forth. So that way you can edit the high quality one directly when you need to, and then just toggle back.
Wow. And that's a shortcut there also.
Yeah, so you can assign a shortcut correctly, or
Okay, that's regular.
quick favorites and things like that. Yeah.
Amazing.
All right, so then I want to do an animated character example, because this is when proxies get complicated. So I'm going to import this character here.
Okay.
So let's go. So
That's
this is
complicated. That guy has a jersey on.
Oh yeah, so it's just like a one single mesh character in this case. Okay. I found it from like a stock mesh site online. So, but the idea is here. So he's moving,
Oh,
dancing.
snap.
And so if you have a 30 frame rate target with this, like it's perfectly fine. And on my computer, it's handling it okay. But let's change the frame rate to 240.
Okay.
And so the target is 240 FPS, but we're only getting like 100, maybe 110 FPS in this case. And so if you want to be able to like hit like a higher frame rate target, then you need to be able to optimize this even further.
Right. Okay.
And with characters, the process for making a proxy gets far more complicated because it's an armature. I believe, so basically you would have to go into your character, rest pose, select the parts that you want, then you would separate that,
Yeah.
and then you would parent that directly to the bone.
Right.
So if I do that, I'm used to having shortcuts. I have my factory setting Blender. It's frustrating.
Shortcuts a little confusing.
Well, just I miss my shortcuts because this is factory settings. So.
Yeah.
And so then with this,
Right.
you parent it and then disable the armature and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that way you get that. So that way you have a piece that's following the character, but it's not deforming. It's just following the bone, and so it's much faster.
Right.
Well, the problem with that is then you have to do that for every single bone, which
Right.
is an absolute pain.
And then you probably have to optimize it according to how dense the mesh is.
Right, exactly. And so in this case, with Proxy Plus, so I have the mesh selected.
Okay.
I click Generate Rig Mesh Proxy.
No way.
It's going to calculate this.
What?
And so we got our...
Nicky,
Oh,
you seeing this?
So now we're at 160 to 180 FPS with the cap being at 240. So
What?
already gained 60 to 70 FPS just from doing that.
That is life saving for some people.
And
They could
the
go
best
home
part-
early.
the best part is the toggle proxy works here too.
What?
So you can toggle with the multiple objects as well.
Well, Spencer, can you change the shading into like the multicolor shading here in Blender so people see
Yeah.
the different blocks if you go back in the shading there?
That's true. Still keeps the materials and UVs with the modifier, so you can still see it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Wow.
and then of course we'll do the render just to test. I forgot the
We got Suzanne in there.
Okay, that's funny. We'll clip that. So yeah, now he's dancing, but it's the full fidelity version. No chunky dance or anything. So
Wow.
yeah, so those are my
It's amazing.
Those are my main
Could you
add-ons.
go up in the viewport settings to the top right? The top right, modal arrow down where you could change the the one right before the circle things right there. Yeah, right after.
this one?
Yeah, the one next to it. Yeah, up in there.
with the lighting that's what you're referring to.
Oh no! If you go back next to that, the black and you were right next to it in that drop down. Yep, shading. And if you click like random color.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
That's one, look at that. Everything is in pieces. It's like, it's not alpha channel. It's like literally pieces, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So the script is literally going through each of the bones and is trying to. It actually follows the weights. So it's like, okay, for this bone, what are the highest weights for that given bone?
Wow.
And from there, it's being able to say like, okay, so these are probably the most important ones for the shoulder, and so that'll be its own piece. Or for the arm,
Wow.
it's like, okay, these are the important faces for that. So that's how it's breaking up into pieces. Is it's just going through the mesh and saying, okay, here's the important weights, and break those for that given bone.
This is amazing.
Kind of has a horror look, almost kind of getting the Five Nights at Freddy's vibes. Actually, I think about it, kind of mechanical look. But
So you could use Proxy Pro for mostly animated meshes. But like the first example showed a static mesh. Hey, King Nview is here. How are you?
yeah, hey,
We're doing a showcase, an epic showcase with Spencer Magnusson here, and he's showing some of the plugins King Nview that he made. And this one here is Proxy Pro. He showed Nview, and before that, one of the main ones is Light Painter.
But yeah, in case you missed it, it's that you're able to have this full quality mesh that's animated, but then you can be able to generate and toggle between the proxy mesh, which will run much faster in the viewport.
Wow.
Obviously, sped up for quality purposes.
So, how much for this one, Spencer? Is this one out for purchase also, or just
Yeah,
straight
so
download?
these are both out. So these are both available for purchase.
Okay.
So Proxy Plus is $15 currently,
Lovely.
and then Nview is $23. That's just, I think it's just because I've had it so long and packed so many features into it, that it slowly goes up over time.
That's
But-
awesome.
And then, of course, Light Painter's free. You
Light
can get it from
Painter's
within
free, wow.
Blender. Then you can download it within Blender. If you have an older version of Blender or don't want to connect to the internet all the time in Blender, you can also just download it straight from Blender's extension site as well.
It's amazing. I know also, Spencer, for us to just touch on another thing, you also have a course out there also?
Yeah,
And,
I'll quickly plug that really quick. So this was in collaboration with CG Cookie. So Jonathan Lempel, Kent Trammell, all of them.
Lampel, yeah.
So basically, for anyone that's interested in coding, especially coding with Blender, this is a great way to be able to kind of get a jump start and be able to apply programming to Blender.
Okay.
And with scripting, it's kind of like one of those things of it seems easy, but as you keep piling things on top of it, it just gets more and more complicated. And
Okay.
learning Python as well as Blender at the same time can be a lot.
Yeah.
So this isn't for absolute beginners. Like, it does give a video of, like, if you've just never programmed before, it does include a free video for that. But then once you've used Python, you can do the rest of it. But the nice thing is you can learn Python right in Blender. Like, Blender has its own scripting environment.
That's
For
right.
those that don't know, there's all these tabs up here, and there's the scripting one at the end. So the course first goes over this, so it kind of shows you like what all these panels are, how useful they are for programming, and basically how to make the add-on development experience much easier and much more straightforward.
That's amazing.
And then
I started to learn Python using Blender, and King Demule here says he learned Python in school. So yeah, so would you say, Spencer, that course is for like a little more intermediate, and if you're a beginner, you could look at the other video to get familiar with it?
Well, so basically the other video is just there because I'm not going to go over everything in Python of like if statements and how to do
Right.
loops and things like that. But
Comment.
I tried to be the course otherwise as very simple as possible. So if you had just watched this video on like learning Python for the first time, that my video should naturally still make sense after that.
Okay.
So I'd say it's still beginner friendly. I'm just not going to go through everything on how to do a loop or
Right. Programming concepts.
Right.
Okay.
So the first lesson of the course goes through the interface, but then the next section of the course goes through the panels. So how to create these nice panels,
Wow.
how to add your own icons and giving the text and everything. And you kind of get to curate and make your own panel of your favorite settings. So that way you can kind of curate like, oh, which buttons do I use all the time? Which settings do I regularly change? Like you can throw all those into a panel and be able to change those really quickly. And then the next section of the course goes into actually creating some of these operators, the actual operating on the scene.
Okay.
And it's been a while, actually. I'm trying to remember the operators we do. We do a node aligning, so it's like when you're making your node trees, you can align them.
Clean them up.
Oh, yes.
Stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and scaling relative to camera is another one, and things like that. So it kind of just gives you some basic operators, but then you get to practice on your own and try to make your own operator that you've wanted to make. And then finally, the course goes over add-ons, extensions, what those terms mean, and how to be able to share your add-on or extension with others and things like that.
That's definitely important. You know how many back alleys of different websites I've gone to, and it has an amazing add-on, and I download it and nobody else knows about it, and then I use it and they're like, "Where did you get that from?" I was like, "Man, it's buried out there."
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
that's
true.
a really good point to be able to spread the word.
Yeah.
So I have one or two little questions for you before we wrap up. What got you interested into coding plugins for Blender generally? Like what's the general overarching, like what drew you to like Blender? Because I know you do and I'm not sure of like the kind of proprietary software that maybe you've encountered, but what drew you to Blender, coding for Blender and Blender in general?
That's a good question. So with me, Blender is actually one of the first 3D softwares I touched. The first one was actually Unity, because as a teenager I was kind of wanting to make ambitious video game, and that was kind of what initially set me off with that. And with Blender being free, I'm like, okay, I can just use that.
Yeah.
So I'd used Blender for a long time, kind of more of just from an art perspective, but kind of outside of Blender, I had been learning to program and learn to code. My dad does programming, and so I think that kind of started off that. So I kind of had these, I had these two branches of art and coding.
Wow.
And with college, I had studied computer science officially, and I just kind of had Blender on the side. But I realized that, oh wait, Blender can do coding. So why not I just merge these two and kind of learn how to do coding with Blender as well. So that's kind of where that started. So the actual coding of Blender add-ons was actually like near the very end of college, was when I started doing that.
Okay.
So that's where it started, to answer that question.
Yeah, and then my last question here for you, Spencer, is okay. This is just basically me asking you a question I could ask almost anyone who's watching out there. If you want to leave a comment about the question I'm about to ask Spencer, you can, or you could comment on in YouTube, or you could come into our Discord and you could send me a message. Okay, so this is the question. All right, it's a little bit broad. So what do you think about do you think AI, it's an AI question. Do you think AI will impact like plugin development? And obviously we've seen some impact on digital artwork. What's your thoughts on just that generally? And I would like to know where your head is at with AI, or if it's anywhere with AI at all.
That's fair. I'd say, in short summary, I feel like my my stance on AI is probably a lot more moderate, like more in the middle than I
Yeah.
think most people. Because there's the people of like, I will never touch AI,
Yeah.
even and then there's the people that are like, oh, I'll use AI for absolutely everything.
Right.
And actually, let me just open up. My computer will happily do it. So let me open up a code editor just that way you can see kind of how the AI works
Yes.
from a add-on developer perspective.
Okay.
Do this. So this is actually an add-on I'm working on to be released hopefully end of this month or next month. Stay tuned for that. But
Okay.
so bunch of code, you don't need to understand all that. But so for example, if I was something of like having this of like it's doing some loading, so it might take a while. But basically with the AI, there's a couple ways you can do it. First is the common one with ChatGPT or Copilot, where it's like you tell it like, hey, write me a script that does this. And so it basically just generates the whole thing for you. That's
I've
one way
done
of
that.
doing it. I've tried
guilty.
it too. And then a lot of with code editors, they kind of do a more moderate approach where it's more like an autocomplete. So let me try to see if I can get it to suggest something. And so trying to see if I can get it to. Usually the idea is of that it kind of acts as an autocomplete. Are you for real not working right now? Okay.
It could be because
Seems like it's having a.
It could be
Because we're
streaming.
demoing.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
Basically, that
I
happens.
should have figured. But so basically, it would act as like an autocomplete, where it's kind of like as I'm typing,
Right.
it would try to guess the next part of the statement. So like in this case, it'd be like KC equals, and it's like, oh, do you mean this? And so for me, with coding, it's that the ChatGPT or Copilot method, that is probably the way of using AI for coding that I'd prefer against. And it's more just because of it generates a bunch of code and you don't always know where it comes from because with code, you can license it. So you'd be like, okay, this code is free to use. This code's not free to use. You have to give permission to all these different things.
Okay.
And with AI, I mean, this is true even for art as well, as that unless you know the model they're using and know it backwards and front, you don't always know if it's always using free to use code or not. Now, I would say the probability of this AI just like giving me fully confidential, I would get arrested type of code is pretty unlikely.
Right.
Just because of how it works and things like that. But I actually did a video with CG Cookie on this very thing of using AI. But basically, don't let AI get in the way of your learning. Like, you should learn things for itself. And once you learn how to code and learn how to code comfortably without AI, you'll see when AI coding is useful and when it's not.
Okay. I like what King Demuli also put in here. He said asking the whole code, it's fast, but most of the time AI doesn't care about order and does not clean stuff and that kind of thing, So that's what he's saying there. So the AI doesn't do every single little thing for you. Yeah,
and actually I actually tried using AI for Proxy Plus when I was first coding it.
Okay.
And I did that exact same thing of like, give me the full code. I was just like, let's just see what it can do.
Right.
And it did horribly. It just completely.
Because he didn't have the newest model, Spencer.
I thought it was the newest model at the time, but I mean, with coding, with AI, especially with coding, it's like if you give it just one thing, like one specific thing, it can usually handle that just fine. But as soon as you start adding more complexity or like wanting a bigger script, then it kind of starts to fall apart and doesn't know what it's saying. And with AI, as I would hope most people know, that AI is kind of a form of hallucinating, and that the AI is like trying to figure out of like, this sounds right. That doesn't mean it will work, but to it, it's like, I've seen code like this. Let me see if that would make sense. And so, yeah, with coding with AI, it's like you have to be basically like, the better you are at coding yourself, the more obvious the limits of AI coding will be. That as a beginner, you're like, oh great, it can do this thing for me. I don't have to know how to code. But over a while, you'll realize of how dependent you are on an AI that's broken at coding because it can't do anything too complicated. And you kind of quickly see of, right, I actually don't know how to code. I'm just really dependent on this thing to try to do it all for me. Whereas as you get more comfortable with coding, then you can still code a lot of it yourself, and then the AI just becomes more of in the background of like fixing this quick little thing and
kind of like a cleanup assistant or something.
It's also really good. AI code's really good at repeating something over and over again.
Save your fingers.
For example, so this is the data that's being saved with this add-on. It's a massive add-on. This is in collaboration with someone else, so it won't be released under my name, but so this is like each property, and this just goes on for a while. And it wasn't in this format. It was like formatted initially in something else, and I was like, okay, I want it to be formatted differently. And so I made a couple of them, and the AI, the autocomplete that would work in here. Oh, maybe it's working now. The error message went away. Is it gonna? Nope, it failed. Okay. I can see there's a little red icon down there, so it's not gonna play with us today. But so once I did like a couple of these, then the AI was of like, oh, you're just changing the format of this thing, and so it then would start suggesting these next ones that are just the same properties but in the new format, and I didn't have to retype it over and over again. So with the super tedious stuff, it actually works really well. But when it comes to anything like with design and structure and things like that, then that's kind of where it can start to fall apart. But
so what do you think?
Get better over time. But.
So a slightly on the same topic, but slight shifting just before we exit here. How about the art side of AI? Have you thought about that? Have you seen that? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Because we're heavy on art here. I mean, but we do a little programming here and there. But what do you think?
It's funny. It's actually funny that you mentioned Escape at the beginning.
Yes.
Because this is actually something. It's in the credits, so I'm not hiding this from anyone. But many of the textures in this are AI generated.
Oh, nice.
So the car textures and things like that, it was Leonardo AI is the name of it, but it would you would give it the object, and then with the prompt it would generate the textures. And in my case, it worked really well. And the main reason I used it was because I was about to have a baby. Not me personally, my wife. But I knew that I would not have the time to actually texture paint in the way that I'd want it to be. And so this was like my answer of like saving time. And thankfully in this case, for a project that was kind of like just to see how it went, it turned out pretty well. In terms of the look and things like that, I think it matched what I wanted. But I think after this project, I was thinking about it a lot, and right as I was making this was kind of when the no AI started and all that. And so basically my short answer is, with art, there are some things where time is not worth saving.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that when you're making an artwork, the point of the artwork shouldn't be how fast can I make this.
Right. Well, you know we move slow on here, so.
That's true. So
I like what you said there. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, because it's like, in this case, I was like in a rush. I knew I would not have time once the baby was born, so I was like, I want to make sure I do this quickly. And for this specific case, it would work. But since then, I've chosen not really to use AI because I've decided I want to make at least most of my art to be more kind of reflective for me. I don't want it to kind of be like where I'm in this big rush to get it done. Yeah. And so it's kind of more for me about like changing how I'm doing my projects that way they're a little bit more reflective. Like this was literally the one I did afterward of just kind of a calm setting in Blender. Do I have the? Oh yeah. So this was me trying to have the AI try to be like reference of like, oh, what would this look like of two ghosts? Yeah. And it was kind of my thing of like, I found AI to be useful sometimes to just like see what could look good, right? But not to actually use. And so like when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, I like the kind of translucent look of the cloth, things like that. But I told it to have a log. It did not add a log. Wow. I told that it was like watching like a movie or like at a campfire. Did not add those. Like, yeah. It was kind of more of just like a quick way of like, oh, what are some things to think about, but not necessarily what to put in.
Yeah, the final thing. So my stance, before let me say my stance here, but I just wanted to read what King DeMille is saying there. He's talking about some of his schoolmates, they use AI, they've used AI extensively, and it's kind of hindering their ability to learn a little bit, and they're kind of they're kind of failing in some of the creative parts of their grade and that kind of thing. So I think that's a thing to watch out for with AI, like hindering your own learning ability a little bit, because you're just allowing this thing to do something for you.
Right. And with that, it reminds me of, I'd read an article of where an artistic manager, I don't know if it's like some business obligation, but they're trying AI artists for the project, and it was like they had the initial results and they're like, okay, fix it. But the problem was that the AI artists, they didn't know how to fix it.
Right. Gotcha. I love
they
it.
didn't have the artist fundamentals to fix it. So it's like a great artist will be able to use AI really well, regardless, because they have all the fundamentals that AI is just another way of doing something that could be used well.
Yeah, that's my stance on it.
Yeah, and a bad artist, it's that they're going to use AI, but they don't have any of the foundation to understand what's good or what's not, or how to make it better. So it's that regardless, you still need the actual skills to make it more than just mediocre. There was a post of that. AI art is really good at being mediocre.
Yeah, because after a while, everything looks like Midjourney. Like the Midjourney kind of look. There's a look to Midjourney. People don't know that, has a overshaded look. And you're right. That's my stance on AI. My stance on AI is just, it should remain a tool and nothing more. Right. And yeah, it should just be a tool. So like what I would do, I actually started the channel streaming here, and I started doing concept art. That's the first set of stuff we were doing on here, and we so I did like really quick what they call silhouette sketching, because I could draw like pretty detailed, but I wanted to try something a little bit beyond myself, so it don't look like my style, and I think that's where AI came in a little bit. So I did a little silhouette sketching, and I passed it through Stable Diffusion, and it gave me different alternate versions of that one thing that I did, and that's where I saw the value. I said, I could add like a pouch to the guy's belt, or I could add an extra thing on the gun or whatever it is. So that's the tool part is.
There was I agree. There was a at this last October of Blender conference, there was a really good talk about using AI for their work. Because it was basically what they would do is the guy would just feed the render that he has so far,
Yes.
and would just have the AI just kind of just renovate the image, not change it drastically,
Touch
but
it
just
up.
kind of see what the AI would do with it.
Yeah.
And they would just basically take it as like a somewhat good critique, where the AI was like, oh, it added this door over here. Well, that door doesn't make sense. We'll not add that. But it did add some good grunge on the ground, so maybe we can add some grunge there.
That's right.
Or, oh, the glass kind of has a good roughness to it in the AI version. We could add something like that in ours. So they weren't even pasting the AI into the render at all. They were just like taking it as potential feedback of like, oh, that could be useful. That's one way to look at it. And so that was a really cool talk. I'm trying to I can't remember what the name of it is.
But it was a Blender conference, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can look that up. I like what King Demuli put in here. He's like, definitely, he's like, AI, it's a powerful tool, but you'll have to know how to use it or else it will destroy you.
Right.
It's pretty funny.
And I personally have not been using it very much in my work. Oh, this is LA. This isn't. There we go.
Hey, Ton. There you go. Okay.
As I spoke in the LA conference actually.
Oh,
so
did
if
you?
wanna
Nice.
See more add-on stuff. You can look at that there. But
Okay. Did they upload it here on the channel?
on their other playlist.
On the other playlist. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This one too, so you can. So this is this was the talk about the AI. Cycles is better than you think, by Topal Saityev.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool talk about of doing that. But yeah, so this is me in LA. So there it is with
Oh,
movie
yeah,
art
that's your-
together.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then where's the other one? Okay. Then this is kind of a workshop of kind of me kind of like working through creating an add-on. So it's kind of like almost like a sneak peek if you're interested in that type of stuff.
Okay.
But
And it goes hand in hand with your CG Cookie
right.
course. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Wow,
Yeah.
this is Spencer. This is great. You know, thanks for being thanks for being the premier person here on this new segment here. And
Oh, of course.
yeah, you know, like I really admire your work. You know, I'm gonna try to continue doing this, and I would love King Demuli. I think would be maybe the next person. He has a toy collection that he wants to talk about, and he also models. So I think your plugins are amazing, guys. If you know you're watching this and you made it this far through everything, you know, definitely check Spencer's plugins out and check out his course on CG Cookie. So, all right, yeah. So I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit then. You know, I hope you have a good rest of your Saturday. I mean, is this still bright out by you guys, or still
I mean, it's afternoon for me, so
afternoon? Okay,
yeah, it's still bright for me.
still bright out. Yeah, that's great. You know, New York, we cherish the sunlight here. Because
Oh yeah, that's true.
yeah, so. But yeah, so this is really good stuff. I love this image that you have up. It looks like almost looks like the Pac-Man ghost a little bit.
That's true. I
Almost.
definitely took a lot of inspiration from the Pac-Man.
There's like Blinky and Inky. Yeah, I forgot the names. Something like that. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Wow.
kind of just some art from my free time.
I remember the Metroid one you showed us. Now, can you click on that
Mhm.
one? How did you
Oh,
get the blast? What is that blast? Is that like did you paint that, or is it like a mesh, or
Oh,
the laser blast?
so yeah, so
Oh, whoa,
so
there you
it's got a viewport. So yeah, so this is actually the perspective is a little deceiving. So actually, this like main blast of the cannon is in front, and then this wider blast is like behind it. So these extra little specs. So this is actually with geometry nodes. Basically,
Okay.
I just had it so get these edges, and then just kind of like do like a little extrude of just those little pieces. So that way they kind of are just in the separately from the blast.
Wow.
The mesh is straight from the game, so I didn't make that one. I
Okay.
actually did light this one with Light Painter with the add-on I showed initially. So
That's
getting
really
those kind
cool.
of the lines with the lighting, but so that was a fun one to do.
Wow. Yeah, this was really this is really nice work. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, thanks for coming on and showing us, and sharing, your, really good work here, and even like answering some of my questions about AI and that kind of thing. Maybe, maybe later on, I may ping you once or twice, just to kind of
Good.
get your idea on some other things,
Absolutely.
because I think for a small channel like myself, I think feedback is definitely a big deal, and being able to apply that feedback, to make the content interesting enough is also a big deal. But then I know we had a discussion where you have content, then you have actual work, so which one you're doing, which
Right.
one you're streaming. So that could be a whole nother discussion at
Right.
some other time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Yeah, definitely love
thank
that.
you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna switch over to the big chat, guys. Yeah. So yeah, that was Spencer Magnusson. You guys seen it? You seen the good work that he's done. I think the plugins are amazing. Next week I would like to. I would see who else I could get. I think King Demule, you might be up next week to showcase if you're down with it. But we could talk about that later if you're down to showing your. I almost remember the name is with a G. I think it's Grimilli or Gimillies, something like that. Oh, you got a ton of ads. Wow. So guys, Light Painter, you want to check that out. You want to check out Nview. You want to check that out. Spencer Magnuson's amazing. You want to check out Proxy Pro, and the Light Painter is free, so you can get a taste of what he has to offer. You know. Wow, 1 minute and 20 seconds of ads, guys. If I had a choice, I would not have the ads. I don't know if I could do anything on this side. If an ad is coming up, please let me know, and I'll see if I could snooze it, or pause it, or something. I think they give us limited controls on this side, but I think this is how Twitch pays the bills. So, and it also kind of helps me a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, okay, guys. So, I was actually planning to get into a little bit of art before we totally close the stream out. But having this at the beginning of the stream, I think is a good idea, and we'll continue to try to make segments for different things. Oh, King Demuli's finally here. So, King Demuli, what was the name of your of the models you were making and the toys? Was it Gamillies? I was saying it the other day and I just forgot it like a few minutes ago. Oh, yeah, there you go. Gomitis. Yeah. So Gomiti is kind of like the best thing I could describe it as is kind of like a Pokemon type thing, but it's different monster toys with different attributes and that kind of thing, and they're pretty interesting. It's Italian, it's cool. So maybe we might touch on that next week, and I'll invite King Demule to kind of show us some of that stuff, and even some of the stuff he's modeling and doing in Blender, right? And hopefully, probably we can even show some stuff using Spencer Magnusson's plugins. That would be great too. There's so many talented individuals in our community, and I just want to have a showcase where anyone could show whatever it is they're interested in, especially if it's kind of more art related. Yeah, I think that would be really good. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back and do a little bit of sculpting in 3D code, and then we'll wrap the stream up in a minute. Okay, yeah. So you kind of paused for school. That's okay. It's all good. I have a couple other people. I have one person who's actually a comic book artist. He's my brother. He's a comic book artist, and he does comic books really good. But he's starting to do traditional painting. So, we'll definitely, you know, it would be nice that every week we have, you know, we showcase somebody interesting, you know, and yeah. Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Just hang out here with Xniki, listen to some music, and I'm just gonna take a quick break and stretch my legs a bit, and then I'll come back and do a little bit of sculpting in 3D Code, and we'll end the stream. We'll end the stream there. Okay, I'll see you guys in a minute. Be right back.
Hey, hang on, you guys. I'll be right back.
Hello there.
Let's play some video games! Yeah, yeah!
Okay guys, I'm back. Yeah, just had to finish my cold coffee. But here on the stream, it's actually always hot, right? My coffee is always radioactive. Wow, that was a really yo, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Gourmelly, man, that's awesome. You know, I can't wait to see all the stuff that you've been doing on your stream, King Demuli. It's gonna be cool. And can't wait to showcase other people, right? Other people in our community. So I'm going to jump over to 3D Code real quick, guys. And as you can see, I was sculpting a cushion for inside of a mech body. I'll just go over what I'm doing for anyone that's watching here for the first time. You didn't do much stuff. I don't know, King really. We'll see. Whatever you're comfortable with, my friend. It's no big deal, no stress. Yeah, hopefully in the future we'll have Spencer back again. If he does other creative endeavors, we'll have him back again also. Okay, guys, and this stream, I show a lot of the things that I do, right? So I mean, there's tons of video of that you guys could go back to, and hopefully I could do like some kind of mashup cut, super cut, where it's like 1 minute of everything I've ever done. A minute might be too long, maybe 30 seconds. Like a hyper speed with like hyper music, and that kind of thing. Some speed music. I think, King Demuli introduced me to already, and that kind of thing. All right, guys. Without further ado, We're gonna jump right into 3D Code, get some sculpting on. And let's go. Okay, I just gotta fire it up. We did sculpting in Blender, guys. Did you see that? I don't only sculpt in 3D Code, right? So you've seen that I've done in Blender, but 3D Code kind of spoils you a little bit, That's all I gotta say about that. But definitely, I have taken meshes out of different programs and add details using sculpting in Blender. So this is Sol 3000 development. So we're just gonna jump in and just kind of highlight that there. I'm gonna put this on the Wacom, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, the music is banging. Let me turn that down. Okay, there we go. It's more like it, right? Okay, guys, so this is what we did so far, right? So like, we walked through this. I'm learning as I go too, right? Every time I touch, even though I might be using software maybe for a couple of years, even Blender, every time I jump back into it, it always feels like I'm learning. Right? It always feels like I'm learning something new all the time. So it's never comfortable. So if you're waiting, I don't know like what anyone out there might be going through with like using software and stuff like that. But for me, when I use 3D software, it's never really a comfortable situation. I never feel like overly comfortable using it, right? Few times I could remember feeling really comfortable using it, and then when I stood up, like my whole back was like completely hurting me. But anyways, that's enough of that. That's kind of weird conversation. Let's continue sculpting here. Let's see what's up. Right, I'll knock back all this complex view right here, and let's start hiding something. So this is the back inside of a mech. Oh yeah, I was about to show you guys. So this is kind of like, it almost looks like a negative cast, right? It could almost be a toy. Right, right. So what I was doing is just up-resing the model all the way down, just using sculpting. And we started the sculpt in Blender actually, and we're finishing it off in 3D Code because there's more control in 3D Code because 3D Code is voxel based. So you could do a lot of like, you don't have to care about the topology that much or at all. You could literally treat it as a piece of clay. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and just hide these things, and this we're just going to focus on this, hang out with this a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna do this head piece here because we have this whole back piece that it attaches to, and this is a whole single piece. So this is the last piece, and I'll just I'll talk about the different tools here that I'm using. So on the side right here is literally a toolbar, a custom toolbar that I made of tools from on the left side here. Oh wow, I can imagine. I mean, just the gourmeties alone is worth remodeling all the stuff that you got collected. All that sort of stuff. It's amazing. That alone is a cool project. Okay, so I'm gonna hide the interface, right? And I'm just gonna access my toolbar here, my special tools. I'm just gonna pick a nice tool here, and what I want to do, I want to clean this up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through with a flattened brush. So let's bring that out, flatten, and I'm gonna flatten, and then I'm going to fill, and I'm going to smooth to kind of polish this shape, and then we're gonna break this shape up into like some cool looking tech panels and that kind of thing, and that's it. Okay. This summer is gonna be crazy. This summer is gonna be crazy. Wow. How long do you say? How much more school do you have? Like, is it like another couple months or? Okay, I want that flatten. Okay, that totally cleaned that edge up. I'm not gonna rework it too much. I mean, overwork it too much. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Okay, hold that down. I'm gonna bring my. Yeah, King Nview, I like the way he said this summer's gonna be crazy. Crazy cool. Wow. Okay, okay. You're locking in. We're probably gonna start seeing some cool models from you then. Are you gonna try to do any animations? Have you ever tackled any animations at all? I should probably check out some of your streams to see. I started checking out your streams. You know, because I'm interested in you know, I'm interested in things that other people do there. Ah, okay. Just straight up modeling, right? Oh yeah, you know what? Remember some time back, I think King Nview, I was speaking with you. I think it was you I told that like 3D Code actually has like a tool that allows you to make joints for like toys and stuff. Like it's like a tool in here. Like a ball and socket joints. So if you do your sculpt, you could like make you don't have to sculpt in the joints, you know, like it already has a tool that does it for you. I think it was you I was telling that. Oh, I got you now. You want to full lock in with the music. Yeah. King Nview, were you the one? I know you do the Dance Revolution you know, the whole like competitions and all that sort of stuff. I remember you were saying, was it you that was saying that you had to go to like practices? So you're part of a dance group or something, right? Or are you like a solo person? And I think it was you who was showing me, I don't know what the name, is the genre called? I think it's called speedcore music. I think it was you showing me all that speedcore stuff. Train at the arcade. Okay. Okay, that's what you meant. Okay, that sounds like fun. Yeah, speedcore, right? Yeah, see, I remember. Okay, I'm gonna bring up a little tool here where I could like make some nice clean clean lines. Yeah, that speedcore thing is, yeah, that's really intense, man. It's fun. It's fun, it's intense fun. That's what it is. And so yeah, totally you were the one that was showing me like I forgot what's is it Reason that you use? Is that the sequencer and all that sort of stuff that you use, like the DAW that you use? When you say locking with the music, I think it's you showing me like some really complex stuff one time, and it was cool. It was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Ableton, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Ableton, that's what it was. Ableton Live. Is Ableton Live, is it the same name? Is that the same program, or is Ableton Live a different one? Yeah, so yeah, it was you. Yeah, and you told King Demule is like, X-Nick, there's some things you might learn here. I was like, really? And then when he showed me all that stuff, I was like, yep, I'm learning right now. Oh, it's Ableton Live Ableton and Ableton is all the same thing, right? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't know if Ableton Live was a different thing, but I was like, it has to be the same program. Just the name. You could say Ableton or you could say Ableton Live. It might be the full name of it or something. Okay, so I just made an edge around here and I'm allowing the program to run the brush along the edge, just to give it a cleaner feel. Okay, let's clean up all these messy anomalies here real quick. Come in here with a smooth brush and let's come in and just start smoothing. Oh yeah, that's nasty, so I'm gonna come in with a full brush. I don't know why that smooth brush did that. Let's come in with a fill brush. Hold on. Okay. I'm done with you. Let's come here, fill. Okay, we gotta fill that in, and we could fill and smooth at the same time. I'm gonna zoom down in like this. I'm just gonna fill the edge here, but we don't want that edge. It looks stupid. Yeah, King Demule, like he showed me some stuff in Ableton. You made like the speedcore. You make really good music actually, if I could remember right. Like literally when I make music, like the music you're hearing in the background, like that music when I make it, I just go based off of like the sound of things, you know, and the feel of the things. And I know that's not the best way to do it. I know it's good to learn how to read music and all that sort of stuff, you know. I think when I was young, my mom tried to send us to like a music class, but my brother and I think we hated it. Like we were like, what's a treble clef, you know, and stuff like that. And they was trying to teach us how to read notes, and we were like only in maybe like 14, and it was tough. Probably younger than 14, maybe 13 or something. I can't remember when. She made us go every weekend, and it was just so hard. And of course, we forgot everything once we stopped going. So hats off to anybody out there that knows how to read music. Oh, you just need the basic stuff? Okay. I think after going to that music, yeah, it had to be when I was like maybe 13 or maybe 12 or something. But after going to that music class and like being, you know, just kind of like hating it, I think I leaned really hard into my art, you know, so she doesn't send us to anything else. I think she was like, oh, these guys, she was like, oh, you know, Nick and my brother's name is Nigel. Oh, they're more artists. They're not too much into the music, you know. And all that because the, you know, the music teacher and just learning music was so intimidating. But now as I'm older, I wish I knew that stuff, so, you know. Because I know, you know, like what you said, the basics, you know. I don't know, Kingdom Muley, maybe one day you could teach me the basics. I'm always willing to learn. You learn to play the piano? Yeah. For electronic music? Okay. Oh, okay, so you've been making electronic music and then now you see, now that what you're saying there is definitely a thing, right? So like after I started making electronic music myself, I was like, man, I need to learn how to play a guitar or play piano. You know, and I think I bought an electric guitar, which probably wasn't the best idea. I should have just bought an acoustic one. You know, and I tried to learn how to play. Notice I said the word try. I don't know, maybe I have a mental block because of the traumatic music school incident when I was young. Of trying to learn the recorder and trying to learn how to read music, and I was like, oh no. And then we had to submit, it was like theory and stuff, so we had to submit homework with the music, and it was, we couldn't wait to get out of there. But now it's like, I bet if I was to do it now, I would enjoy it. But as a kid, all I wanted to do is to play with my G.I. Joe. See, I know how to read notes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, maybe, you know, as you said, you know, like, there's some things I could learn, and definitely, for sure. Okay, like, whatever it is we're doing with this thing, it's got to improve, right? So I'm just looking at this, and I hate how certain things are happening, so I'm just going to use there's a cutoff brush in here that you could just fix like silhouettes of things. So like how this little edge here is peeking out, we could just cut that off. I think there may be something like this in Blender, but not quite. You know, I'm not dissing Blender, I'm just saying that 3D code is a little bit different, and each software has its strengths. Because I totally sculpt in Blender without a doubt. Just not right now. Just not right now. Maybe in another stream, you know, I'll definitely just stick with sculpting in Blender. You know, there's a couple projects that we started here on the stream, but you know, later we'll get back into it. Right? What's that? Yeah, rhythm games really helped me with a lot. Oh yeah. Yeah, you played them since you was 9. Wow. And they trained my rhythm, muscular memory. Okay, yeah, muscle memory and all of the other stuff. So learning to play an instrument is way faster and easier. I can imagine, man. Like, dude, like I saw that video with you playing that game and I was like, whoa, that is amazing. I think I played it on a stream. We played it in a stream. It was just amazing, man. Like, you were so fast. And still you're not pro? Like, I can't even imagine what a pro is going to look like. You look like a robot. Basically, you played like a robot, dude. Oh, wow. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. And all the music you're hearing here on the stream, of course, you know, you've heard me said I made it, right? But these are old. This is old music. I would like to make some new ones, you know. And this song kind of hip hoppy, you know. I'm not really into a lot of like overly hip hoppy stuff, but it just was easy to make at the time, to be honest. So they have a little hip hoppy kind of thing to them. You know, I'm more into electronica, you know, to be honest with you guys. You know, and of course speedcore that King Dumuli introduced me to. I would like to drop some of those elements and some of the stuff that I would like to make in the future. But that speedcore stuff is like on another level though. Okay, we're continuing to polish this thing up. I think I'm almost done polishing this up. I just have to fix the edges again. I think the shape is coming along. Yeah, I'll just come in with this flattened brush and let's just finally kind of get this fixed. I'm going to try to move a little quick here, guys. Okay, let's fix this. Let's get this going. This is where the rubber meets the road. You still learn fast, okay? You started playing D&D in September 20. Really? Only in 2024? What? Just a year ago? The one time I played, I think I told you the story about the one time I played D&D with you know, with the CEO of the company, and then somebody recorded it and like kept looking at it and laughing. like he had it on his phone, and whenever like throughout the day, you know, like it was just like a company kind of like hangout, you know. It was like during COVID or whatever it is, you know, and you know, the CEO of the company was like, "Hey Nick, you want to play?" I was like, "Sure." You know, this kind of news reporter white guy, you know, and you know, Tom is a really cool guy. And the one time I mean, that's the first time I ever like got on there and tried to like really play it, and he tried too, and we did pretty all right. But this guy recorded it and just kept looking at it in his phone and laughing. So I was like, yeah, no, that's it. I'm gonna find. I'm pretty sure the guy probably still has the clip. I'll probably reach out to him and ask him if he could send me a copy of it, and I'll play it here on the stream. It's pretty funny. I may have kept a copy of it and then deleted it because I you know, I probably was pissed off that he kept looking at it and laughing or whatever, but I don't care anymore. At the time I did. It was basically his video, so I couldn't demand that he got rid of it. Yeah, if you totally stream that D&D stuff, I think it's gonna blow up, like, for real. You should have a D&D segment to, like, your stream. I'll watch it. I don't know if there's any more D&Ds around here. I know, like, Dave and Buster's is the place where we went to get Dance Dance Revolution thing. I don't know if they still have it. And I don't even know if they're still open. I gotta check to see if they're still open. But if they are, I don't know. If you like speedcore, I can recommend an artist that's just like that of. Oh, really? In Japan? Japan? Wait a minute. Did speedcore originate in Japan? Don't tell me it did. I mean, I like Japanese stuff like a whole lot. I like Japanese pop culture. That's what I should say. I like anime. Well, you probably know all of that. Because Exercise Nick is a big wafoo. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yo, weeaboo. He's a big weeaboo. Or not in Japan. Where did it originate? Is it like... I think it's somewhere in Europe, man. Yeah, probably, right? Yeah. You like the Japanese style? Hey, do you like dubstep? Remember dubstep when it came out with all that wobble bass? Can you remember that stuff? Oh no. The bass was going like whoop whoop whoop, kind of wobble. Ex-Nikki is Japanese, just in case if you didn't know. At least she doesn't speak Japanese, but I just call her she's just Japanese to me. Okay guys, I think I might reach a place here where this is gonna look as good as it's gonna get. Okay, let me just kind of clean up this side here. Okay, and let's start to add some detail on this. I'm looking at this. Let's see here. Scroll down a bit. Let's clean that up. Okay, this is looking smooth enough. It's all about it's all about contouring, right? It's like makeup, it's all about contouring. A lot of people turned against it. It was big, man. I remember everything was whoop, 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 whoop. You know, it was like, you know, up and down like that. And people was like, whoa, this is the coolest thing ever. But now people turned against it, man. They hate it. I think it was probably overdone, the wobble days. You can still make it hot, King Demuli. I have faith in you. King Demuli's like, I'm never using that in my music. You just hate those basses, you're sorry? Okay. Okay, alright. Well, you know what, King Demuli? Like, probably at some point during the week, God willing, I'll reach out to you and see if you will be available to do a showcase. If not, no big deal. We could do it some other time. But I'll reach out sometime later in the weekend. You know, maybe like a Thursday or something, or like a Wednesday maybe, and see where your head is at with school and all that. You know, no need to feel intimidated. You know, it's just, you know, whatever. There's no real format. You don't have to come across overly professional or anything like that. It's just, you know, just being regular, like how we speak right here. You know. Just regular. Okay, are you ready for like tech stuff on this? I am ready. So I'm gonna save this. Let's get some tech stuff going on this. Technology. Yeah, next week probably. Yeah. Okay, you have exams and okay, yeah. Also Cambridge English certificate exam. Oh man, that's awesome. Do you look forward to those exams? You know, I'm a freak of nature, guys. You know, I actually like examinations. There's such a rush with exams, man. Like, I don't know. I like exams, especially when I pass them. Are you a freak of nature? Do you like exams or no? You hate them like 99% of everybody that takes them except me. Yeah, you see, you confirmed it, King Demili. I am a freak of nature. I'm basically radioactive green, drinking radioactive coffee with a yellow bear girlfriend. Yeah. Wow. Okay. You see, now English was my favorite subject. Like, I always did really good. Math, not so much. I think math was a little too creative for me, and in order to, math is a funny thing. So math, you have to know, how things, you have to know all these different mathematical systems, and then you got to learn how to use them creatively. And I think because it was so abstract, I had a really hard time with it. Now, as I'm older, like, I think I might be a lot better at abstract math concepts. I'm better at that. But when I was younger, I didn't like it because I couldn't get my head around it. But English, yeah, they're actually the most random questions you never thought about. English and stuff, yeah, I like that stuff. I don't know, maybe we could work it out where I could take your exam for you. You know. And I'll pass. And maybe you can make me some music in exchange. In exchange for a 99.9% grade. Like top-notch grade. A+. Nothing less. Recommend to check out okay. Oh, MIDI? Yeah, I like MIDI music, by the way. MIDI music, by the way. He's the old school speed core. Okay, I got you. That's the name of the guy. That's how he spells his name. Okay, will do. I'll check it out. Okay, let's add some tech stuff to this. I've been beating around the bush. Let's go grab first let's make a seam around this. So that's the first tech thing we're gonna do. So I'm gonna grab this seams brush and make a seam all the way around this guy. Alright, we have symmetry on, so we just have to do it to one side. And just gonna bring up my tools here so I can see what I have. Okay, it's box pinch, and let's grab okay. Let's use this. Okay, here we go. Okay, making that seam around here. This is kind of wrapping over here like that. Wrapping around. I'm gonna drop this here like that. Oh, the music is very good. Oh, vulgar stuff in the title. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, thanks for giving me the heads up there. Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from any kind of like corrupting stuff, like vulgar stuff. I'm really trying. Because I want to focus on finishing, working on some of my stuff here, and not have anything that, you know, is gonna come into my head. And thanks for giving me a heads up, though. Yeah, I'll still check him out to see if he has something that I could listen to. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm making these corners here sharp because it's supposed to be. Okay, and this might be it. Okay, so I'm gonna apply this brush to this. Apply. Man, this program is glitching. You know, that's a funny, funny you shouldn't even mention that, man. Like, literally. Whoa, what happened here? Is this not deep enough? What's going on with this? Hold on. The depth is 0. Who turned this depth to 0? Control Z. It wasn't me. Let's put the depth up to 80. Let's make sure we're on the right tool here. Yeah, box pinch. I'm going to try this again. Apply. There we go. Yeah, pretty common in the old school stuff. Yeah. I was about to mention something about that. So yeah, so literally, I remember growing up, right? Yeah, you're right. In the old school stuff, those guys used to curse a lot and say vulgar things like for real. And the reason why they did this is because at the time people never used to really hear all that kind of stuff. I don't know, to make the music sound edgy, but what happens is over time it just sounds really bad. It sounds embarrassing actually, and it kind of ruins the music. So sometimes when you see like those same artists come back and they do like a concert and they're old or whatever it is, they kind of leave out the cursing and the vulgar stuff out of some of the music. Not all of them, but some of the music they leave that stuff out because they realize it just doesn't sound as cool as it did when they were younger and in those days. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I would allow that. You see, it try to block you from putting the word sexy in there, but it's okay. The sexy is permitted on here. Yeah, definitely. For sure. I think maybe 50 was a little too 100 was a little too deep. Let's try it again with a shallower seam. It's a very fun song. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. Okay, let's take a look at the seam. Why does it look so crummy? Hold on, I know what to do. I have to redo this. Hold on here, guys. I got this. I gotta come here and just apply some stuff on this. Uniform, okay, and then come back here, global space. Now let's try. Maybe 50 is a bit much. Let's go 30. I think it was before. I don't know why it changed. Let's go back here. Oh yeah, and then for this I wanted a different. Let's go with let's go with a circle out. Okay, we do have a circle. Okay, let's go ahead. Apply. It's a very fun song. Yeah, I would definitely have to check that stuff out. Let's go here, pinch, and I'm gonna apply a pinch to it. Oh, you can't do that with a pinch? Oh, here we are. Oh, it's back again. Let's go, apply. So the pinch has some smooth on there. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, boy. Okay, let's do some paneling along here, and that should end the cushion part of this. We have a paneling. Where's my paneling? Build up panel. Yeah, boy. Yeah, it's no longer active. Yeah, a lot of those guys back then are. I wonder if he's still alive. King Nview. I didn't mean to come across like that, King Nview. They're kind of a little bit morbid. Okay. Oh, I wonder if he's still breathing. No. Yeah, he still is. That's good. Okay, this is looking good. I gotta get rid of this thing here, but let's make the rest of the panel. I'll just divide this up into a few more pieces, and then that's it. And I'm not gonna add too much paneling because it's gonna look stupid. We're gonna keep things simple. It's not gonna look realistic if there's like a ton of like tech paneling all over the place, guys. Not I'm not aiming for realism, but we don't want it to look dumb, right? Okay, we had some of his latest messages in his blog. Okay, that's cool. Really give up because of his age? Because he's 52? Okay. Okay, I got you. Okay, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, so he has an illness and he can no longer like keep up with it. Okay, yeah, okay. I hope he gets better, you know. Because sometimes you hear about people like in their like 70s and 60s, like really old, or even in the 90s, almost 100, like making music still, you know. So, you know, it's unfortunate that he's sick. You know, I hope he feels better. Really? Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely look him up and see what his music sounds like. Definitely. Wow, his style is that distinct, huh? And again, he's Japanese. The Japanese. Okay. You already had me at Japanese, you know. So yeah, I'll check his stuff out. Okay, look at this cushion, guys. All right, I gotta clean up the middle there. 'Cause I don't want that to be like a dividing piece, like it's symmetry. So, hold on. It's a headrest, so I'm gonna go in here and let's get like a nice tool there to flatten that out. Is that? Yeah, so we gotta flatten that. Let's use the flatten tool. I'm just gonna run the flatten tool along here real quick. Run it one more time. Okay, and then I'm going to run a smooth on there. Okay, let's rotate that a bit. And I'm gonna come in with that fill tool and smooth. My bad, guys, hold on. Fill. Oh, no, what happened? Okay, I don't know what happened there, that was weird. Fill. No, what's going on? Okay, let me fix this for a minute here. I don't like what I'm getting. Hey, this works like this too. Kill that middle part there a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna come in here. Just gonna spread that out a bit. Okay. Whew. Talk about a headpiece there. Okay. Oh, 2019? No, wait a minute. Is it, so what's his best? Does he release albums? Does MIDI release albums? Or is it just like single music or single songs and stuff? Because sometimes, you know, some of those guys release albums and like the best album might be the first one or something. Yeah, albums. Okay. Whoa. Okay, this is glitching. Hold on. I want my stuff back. No way. Okay, hold on. Why is this all of a sudden glitching out like this? Hold on. What? No way. I'm gonna save. Scary. Oh, why? Don't do that. No. No. Anyways, let's see it without all the drama around it. I'm creating drama for myself with my own stuff. Okay, so that headpiece is looking pretty good. Just have to clean up the edges, but I have to like protect it. I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden it's like glitching and it's screwing my stuff up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save this. It saves with the stupid glitch. I could clean that up. It's not a big deal. Let's see here. We could clean that up, but it's unfortunate that it does that. It's called TSSC, Tokyo Style Speed Core. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look that up. It comes highly endorsed by you. Okay, let's clean this up. I don't know why I did this, but stuff like this happens sometimes, right? We gotta learn how to work through this, I guess. This is gonna ruin my thing. Oh, I got that. Tokyo Style Speed Core. I'm gonna check that out. Not on stream, guys, because you know on stream they'll hit me with the copyrights and all that, but I'm definitely gonna check it out and let King Demurely know what I think. Yeah, it's censored. I don't know why perfect is censored. I have no idea what's going on there. It put a stupid pimple on our cushion, but I can get rid of it. Let's smooth that out. Okay, it's all smoothed out, and I can just get rid of these floating things. It's all good, guys. All good. It's all good. Can get rid of it. And watch this, I'm just gonna mirror one side to the next. Geometry, saving, enable geometry sim copy. There you go. Okay, it should be good now. It should be good to go. Let's save this. Alright, let's take a look at what it looks like with everything else unhid from it. Okay, and I want to merge it back into here. I'm watching the back here. This doesn't look so cool. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna come in here and just kind of scrape this down just a little bit to match up with the back here a little bit. Okay, let's just scrape this down. See what we get. I'm gonna scrape it down using this flatten tool. It's the best. There's a scrape tool in here, but it's not that good. You know, I don't know why some sculpting programs have a problem with like scrape tools and flatten tools. It's basically scrape. So I think Blender has the same problem a little bit with having a good scrape tool. And there's a tutorial out there with a guy showing you how to fix Blender's scrape tool a little bit. So when you use it, it's nicer. It behaves nicer. We're almost done with this. Almost finished. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, I'm almost finished with this, guys. Almost finished. Okay, let's kind of really smooth this out back here. Even though we mightn't see back here that much, just so we don't feel bad, we gotta, like, you know, make sure these things are somewhat looking somewhat in shape, you know, basically. And we're almost done. Just a little more again. Even though we mightn't see back here that much, we still wanna, you know. And then one thing you could do, like this tool I love a lot. It's the move tool. You could like move parts of the mesh slightly. So I'm just gonna get kind of like a front view. I'm just gonna pull and make it kind of big, and it's gonna pull the mesh up slightly to kind of make that to make where it meets here a little tighter, like a tight seam. Down a little. Oh, this is really sensitive. Bring that up a bit. Bring that up a bit. Okay, bring that up a bit, that's good. You know, we can just move things like slightly into place, believe it or not. Yeah. You know, it helps. Bring this across a bit. Okay, so that's fine. And obviously what we did on one side was done to the other side because we had symmetry on, and I'm gonna merge this now with the final, with the rest of this, and just call that, you know, finished. So this is what we're working on. I'm gonna, and this is the piece that we want to merge it to. I'm gonna merge that, right click, merge subtree, and it's gonna merge that. So everything now is one piece. Okay, I'm gonna move this onto my main desktop, guys. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so I'm not bending my back over that. So see how this is merged together? Let's make sure it is. Okay, this is all merged together. But you see, like, where it connects, it looks really sharp. So all I gotta do now is just run a smooth run another smooth over that, and you can just do this kind of slightly free-formed. And the way I'm gonna do that is we're just gonna use like a like a line to run between it, so it doesn't look as stupid. Okay. So let's come here. Let's just run that line there. Oh, do we have the right thing selected? Yep, there we go. There we go. You see that? Just kind of opens up that sharp area so it doesn't look as dumb. So it looks like one piece instead of a piece being shoved into another piece, right? We don't want the shoved into another piece look, at least not for this. Right? We want it to look like one unified piece here. I don't know, like some of the music I make, I think it is a combination of, let me know what you think about the background music for the Exosonic show, guys. Let me know. I really want to find out. I think it's a mixture of cartoon / hip hop / I don't know, dance music or something. I'm not sure what it is. It's just stuff I guess I could have made at the time. It's simple, right? Simple concepts, nothing extravagant. Okay. Oh, thank you, King Nview. I feel so much better. Like, I thought I was the only one. Yeah. Whatever. Exactly. Why should we care that much? That's right. I only care that it sounds cool to my ears. But you know what? King Nview, if we want to sell it, if we want to get money from it, then, I don't know. Exactly. Okay, I'm not getting into that crevice. I'm good right there. I already went over and beyond for this thing. Okay, so here we are. This is the finished top piece here. Let's hide the symmetry plane. I say this looks this is looking snazzy, and of course this is a worst case scenario shader. Of course, if we go to a regular shader like this one, everything looks really nice and milled out. The worst case scenario shader is definitely for the worst case scenario. Yeah, like this is a better shader here. How about even this one? What does this blue one look like? Yuck. Okay. Let's put back the worst case scenario. Okay, so yeah, we got a top inner part. We got the top of the thing. And then I may not stream the rest of this, guys. I may actually just do this behind the scenes. And we'll move on to something else. I think what I'm going to do here, guys. New game. Exercising core, speed core. I think that's a good idea. Hey, let me know if you want to do that. Seriously. Maybe, I could animate myself jumping and dancing or something, and I don't know, maybe we can make it work somehow. I'm not sure. I think it would be a cool... Nikki could do it. She'll be the dancer. Okay, so, yeah, so guys, so I think I'm not going to do the rest of this on stream. I might jump in and maybe do one part that I think might be interesting. But of course, you know, this is part of the overall gizmo of what this is going to look like. So I'm just going to go ahead outside of stream and detail this going all the way down using the same techniques. And I'm not going to bore you guys with like 50 streams of this. Even though, I mean, whatever, I mean, I'm not trying to entertain you. I'm just trying to show what I'm doing, and I'm trying to share what you're doing. We're just trying to learn from each other, right? That's what we're doing. And it may be funny, or it may be entertaining. I don't know. You let me know. You know? We're going to try to make it fun. You know? Looks, yeah, the top part looks clean, right? The top part here. Yeah, we're going to continue and try to make it look, continue cleaning it up going all the way down. Thanks for letting me know that. Thanks for letting me know that it's clean. I was wondering about that. I was like, man, is this clean enough or what? So I'm going to show you the blender, like the blender thing in there. It's an overall concept. There's tons of concept behind this. So I know this is going to be, it would take a lot of effort for that, but I think it will, in the end, it will pay off. So let's see here. I'm going to load this. Okay, so basically, guys, you know, maybe I should or should not do this, but basically this is the interior of a thing. So let's see what that thing is. Okay, so this is the back. This is what we were working on, right? And I'll show you guys in a minute here. Okay, these are the interiors. Here it is. So this is what we had here in Blender. We had a basic interior like this, and we made like a whole apparatus with a head and a mask, and this is a whole control mechanism. Let's get the control mechanism in here. So we had to pose her to make sure that she fits in here to begin with. And this whole thing is going to be articulated, so don't steal my ideas. I'm just joking. Whatever, you know. So check this out. So the whole thing is going to be articulated. Don't save. Let's get another part. So this is interior. Let's get the interior part. Right, so I took the interior and I made this whole thing. We did this in Blender, guys. We sculpted this in Blender. And we got this far before Blender kind of fell apart a little bit on me. And I couldn't continue to sculpt the detail in Blender. I mean, I'm sure somebody else could, but I just thought 3D Code would look... Oh, she looks happy? You know what? I think like... if anybody goes inside her, like, this thing is going to be a torture device. She's not going to be happy for long, for sure. like literally, this thing is like so tight around her body. You know, I don't think you were around when we were showing. Let's see. Hold on. Is she still in here? Oh yeah, I still have her in here. Hold on. Let's see if we could make her. So check it out. Look, this is how she looks in here. Right. Let's go back into this view. Let me make it colorful. Hold on. Random. Yeah. Oh, everything's already random. Why is it not coloring random? Whatever. Anywho's, so this is what that looks like in there. Hold on. Let me see if I could hide this part here. Okay, I see. So yeah, this is if you want to see what it looks like. So we did this polygon model in Blender, and there's a whole bunch of apparatus all around her. Let's see if we could, yeah, so this, yep, that smile's gonna disappear soon, you're right. Yeah, look at this stuff. She has like, it's like literally, like, it looks kind of like a torture device, but it's not, it's just controls. It's fictional controls. And this part here is part of our helmet. I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I select, it's kind of like an internal helmet, right? So it's not just like some fancy, you know, things around her head. It's literally like, I think I want it to be a helmet, an internal helmet. And it could probably be an external helmet too. But anyways, yeah. It's basically, this, this thing here. So it connects. It just doesn't hang. It connects to something that's solid, kind of like that. You know, it just doesn't hang there. But we're making it all techie, right? So once we do the back side, we got to do the front side, which is going to be all techie. And then that's it. Then we're going to put it inside of the model. And the way how games work, right? The way how games work, you have two models. You have the empty model, and then you have the detail model that has all the insides and all that sort of stuff. So there's going to be two models in the game that I'm going to have to switch between, which is this model and with the insides, and then the model without the insides. Anyways, yeah, I don't know why I explained that. I don't have to explain this stuff, guys. I just do it sometimes. I don't know why. It's weird. I need to stop explaining things. Somebody stop me, please. Anyhow, so yeah, so the previous video show how we used Blender to kind of do this kind of 3D model sketch. So I did not have this as a concept sketch at all, you know. So this wasn't any sort of like concept drawing. You know, we literally came in Blender and made this whole inside up by just slapping stuff together. And then now in 3D Code, we are sculpting all the detail going all the way down. And yeah, we could do that in Blender too. All right, yeah. All right, guys, so that's enough. You know, enough stream for today. King Demule, you hung out with me for the whole thing. What? We had Spencer Magnusson on, and he showcased his cool work. And you reminded me of Speedcore. I got to get back into that. Building torture devices here. Let me rephrase that. Excuse me. Building the Mech internals here on the Exercising Show with my friends. I'll see you guys in a little bit. God bless. God bless. Take it easy. We'll see what tomorrow brings. You know, if anything, we'll just hang out and it wouldn't be as formal. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. King Demule, have a good night. Yeah, and all the best. You guys take it easy. Bye-bye.
Long, long ago, we were the slaves of the Urgoth. And eventually, after much strife, we broke free. And so we made our walls high. And our convictions strong.
How interesting. Just look at that.
out there on their own.
We found her last night. In the jungle.
They said she must have been out there for years.
It's not possible. I always knew this day would come. A new beginning.
You won't get your son back. You have my word.
And yet, new enemies would be forged. A line would be crossed.
Wow!
Things would never return to the way before.
Where?
Look deeper, and you will see. Visions, Scully. Your history. Your future. A life unlived.
You backstabbing rat! You sold us out! I never should have trusted you!
She's in the middle of it. That's not possible.
The anthem swims through your mind. It knows you. It knows us all.